Good morning, guys. Just making our way back the old 1880s road to the turn of the century rail station. Gonna go do some detecting today. You can see what detector I'm bringing. The Legend has the 11-inch standard coil on it, so I just thought it'd be easier. There's gonna be a lot of grass this time of year. This place amazes me because it got left behind when civilization moved on into the 20th century. Town was built up, 15 kilometers that way, and this place just got left behind and forgotten. By the 1940s, it was done. No more station there, and it had been a boon. This road that we're going to go down, the 1885 road, there were houses along here. They all disappeared, and there's nothing out here but lonely woods now. We've done 5 or 6 different videos on the channel on this place. And it's the place, if you guys recall, there's a big hill where the train used to throw all its garbage down. And Stan and I detected there was a baby carriage. No baby in it, thankfully. But there was all kinds of garbage from the 1930s and 40s rail station. And in behind, I walked in there, and there was an old, must have been a cabin. There wasn't any remains of anything. And if you guys recall, I dug a very cool ceramic container. It was like New Zealand cheese from the 1890s, and it was imported here to Canada. And I dug that ceramic jar there. And while we were, I'm getting a shiver down the back of my neck. While we were there that day, I was digging away. I heard a woman's voice like whisper something in my ear, and Gage was growling at the same time. And so we only had the GoPro with us as a secondary camera, and I used my phone to do a quick Hack Shack session. And I can't remember what it said, but it said some stuff. There's a video on the channel, guys, and this was a few years ago. So today, I'm gonna go back to that site. I've brought my other phone and a speaker, and we can do a proper session and record it and just see if we get anything. So today will kind of be like a metal detecting / paranormal video all in one. Let's go back to the turn of the century rail station and see what spirits are hanging around and if we can find any of their treasure.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wow, this road is really growing in now. So much so, in fact, I don't want to scratch my truck. We may just back up and park in the last opening and walk this in. This is the right call. We'll back up to the last clearing. Alright, I think it's about a mile from here. But my truck won't get all scratched up, so I'm okay with that. So a little bit of a recap, guys. We have found 1800s coins in here. I found, I believe it was 1873, a Canada quarter, which was the second year that Canada quarters were made, and this thing was like mint. Found that down here at the rail station. We found all kinds of old lanterns that were, would have been lighting the deck, the loading platform down there in the 1800s. There was a little shack along the creek that has a stone foundation. Part of that still there. We found bottles and stuff in there. I did find a religious medallion in behind that. We found all kinds of stuff in here. It's definitely worth going back. The problem is, as you guys can see on the side of the trail here, the grasses are pretty much chest deep. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to detect, where I'm going to be able to swing, but we can also get in the woods a little bit where I found that ceramic cheese container, and it was a little bit more open in there, and we can swing around in there. I'm not sure. It must have been just a log cabin. No foundation left at that place at all, but there were nails in the ground. So there was something there, 130 years ago. So the old road here is pretty much just a four-wheeler track now. It runs to the next little village 20 kilometers away. So guys use this for four-wheeling, and it's part of the snowmobile trail system in the winter. You know, I could probably go in here and detect in any of these openings. There's a pretty good opening right in there, and find stuff, because there were 1920s houses. There was a few of them in here. There's only one foundation that we haven't found. I've got it marked on a map. It's probably a couple miles from here, further down the trail, and the rest of them are behind us where we've already come from, and we've detected each of those sites. But I mean, there might be more that weren't even on the map. You never know. You can see the railroad track over there in the distance. It kind of runs parallel to this road. And eventually we get to the clearings up here, which had the actual station in it with the loading platform. All of the Canadian troops for World War I were shipped out of this area from that station. It was a very busy place, which is why I guess I find this so mind-boggling that, you know, there's nothing here but empty road and 100 miles of empty bush. But to think, you know, there was probably hundreds of people back here in the day. If you guys look closely, you can see signs of fall coming. All the leaves are starting to turn right here. Would it be worth it to detect this road? Yes and no. There very well could be coins and things on this road. We have found them on other old logging trails and roads from the 1800s. A double-double from the island of Gurney. I don't know how that ended up in Canada, 1902. But the problem is, because they're still using this as a four-wheeler and snowmobile trail, there are lots of little nuts and bolts and metal parts that guys are losing off their machines. I just saw a piece of aluminum from a pop can back there. And the second problem is that the road is very hard. After being here for 150 years, it is rock solid. So you would have to find a super good signal to want to dig down there 8-9 inches. It's like cement. Okay, and right through here is where we need to go. Man, is it ever overgrown. The field is just up here, I think, maybe another 100, 200 meters. Yeah, so the station was out there. The other problem with this coming in here this time of year is these are all raspberry bushes, right full of raspberries, and the bears will be starting to fatten up this time of year, so you got to make lots of noise. You don't want to surprise a bear in here that's been eating raspberries and it's just laying down taking a break. Well, the deer have packed down some trails out here, so I can kind of swing the detector over those. I might take this pack sack off, swing here for half an hour, just see if we can find anything, even though the station, I believe, was actually the next clearing down. This is where they dump the garbage. It's just behind here. There's the hill that drops down, and then in there 200 yards behind that was the little shack that I found along the edge of the creek. So maybe we'll make our way over to that creek, but I will swing this open field for a bit just to see. There's probably signals all through here. Guys were working, you know, along these tracks. So let's get at it. So in places like this, we're going to dig up any good solid signals we get. So I've got one here that's in the 20s, and we're after relics and history and anything. So any good solid signals, I'm going to dig. Not just out here to find coins and things like that today. So we've got to dig up every good solid signal. Okay, I see this one already. It's a shotgun stamp, and it's old. Trap number 12, early 1900s. I told you guys that we found all kinds of lantern parts down here, and second hole, I've got another one. So you can see right here, there's the knob for adjusting your wick, and the wick is still right there. Some of them had manufacturer's marks on those little knobs, but I can't make out any writing on this one. Again, early 1900s. This must have been a very busy place at night. Lots of folks down here boarding and loading trains. Can't imagine it with what's behind me, but it had to have happened. Very hard place to dig this time of year. I've cut my hole. Now I got to clear the grass out of here to actually get the plug pried out. Not everything here is going to be treasure. This looks like some kind of container that's broken, but in the same hole, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Just to show proof of age, square nails. All right, we got a screaming 46 here. But there's this, whatever this is, sticking out of the ground. Oh, that's it. That's our screaming 46. Copper. An old copper pail or something. There's so much stuff like this here, guys. I can't carry this out. Like, within an hour, my pouch would be full and too heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw this stuff up right along the edge of the tracks, because there's a lot of hot rocks and stuff up there, a lot of nails and spikes and things. We're not going to detect up there. So I'm just going to put this up there along the edge of the tracks. It's not littering. I'm going to carry out as much as I can carry out. I know we've only been here 20 minutes. I can't carry out all this stuff. Okay, we're working right there. Actually, I was just coming back from throwing stuff up at the tracks, and I see an opening right there. That's not good. That could be where the bear is going in and out, and my pack sack, as you can see, is right beside it. I didn't notice that when we walked in. We walked along here. I'm gonna go get my bag and move it out of there. Gage hasn't made any indication that there's any animals in this big thicket here right now, but you never know. So we're just gonna move away from there. It could be deer. It could be the deer going in there as well. But definitely that's where they're going in, right there. Better safe than sorry. I'll move this out here into the middle of the field with me. It's got my lunch in there. Just going to interject for the sake of the legend. I haven't touched this machine all summer. I've been using the Manicore. You buy a new $2,400 machine, that's what you're going to use. I'll tell you guys right now, in the first 20 minutes of using the Legend again, I'm preferring the Legend. I'm just kosher. I like the sounds. It's just working. It's not hot. It's not giving me falsing. When it's showing me that there's something there that's not a nail, it's not a nail. All right, big square nail in that hole, but that is not what I'm getting. I'm getting a high 35 tone. I swung this over the coil, and this is giving me a low iron. So good for you, Legend. You know the difference between a nail and treasure. Woo! And underneath the big square nail, guys, is an actual piece of history, real treasure. I don't know what it is, what it says, but this is cool. All right, you guys see this down here? It's some kind of badge. Let me take a closer look. I'll brush this off a little bit. Well, unfortunately, there is no writing on this. There's just a circle in the middle. There's 3 rivets on it and no writing on the back. So, is this a piece of railroad history, some kind of rail working badge? Or is this a piece of military history? As I said, all of the recruits for World War I left here and came home here on this train station. If any of you guys recognize this, what that is, let me know in a comment below. Yeah, I know you're overheating. You are a chocolate lab. I don't want to leave, guys, but there's no water here for him. I didn't bring water because we're going down to the creek after, so maybe we're going to have to cut this part short. It is very hard digging here. Man, I've only been here half an hour. But there's more to see down there along the creek. I think he can do another 15 minutes here before I take him down for a drink. So we're going to do that. Let's hope we find something good here. But no, I will not neglect Mr. Gage. He needs a drink soon and a swim. He loves to swim down in that. There's one little hole that he can do circles down there, and we'll take him down there shortly. 1930s insulated wire. Hey, isn't that supposed to be good luck? I see something round. It's not a coin though. Oh, it's just a big old washer. Solid 34. All right, what is it? Might be those. Some kind of lead ingots. This one here you can see is rounded. Well, that's interesting. I'm thinking coat hook maybe? That's what it looks like. Something like that maybe? And actually I see some glass down in here as well. Very dark. Oh. It's actually dark green. All kinds of bits and bobs in here, guys, that I don't know what they are, what they were. All right, both of us are nice and hot now, so we're gonna head through the woods here, across the tracks, and down into the big gully to the creek where he can get a drink and go for a swim. And then we'll get back at it. We'll maybe work our way up that creek, which I've done once before, but there was stuff in there. So the actual station would have been right up here at the tracks, but you can't detect up here because it's all metal. There's some right there. There's a bunch right there. It's all slag, and all of these pieces of slag make the detectors go off. But here is an interesting piece just laying on top. There's an old salt or pepper shaker right there. Well, I either got to go over or under. I guess over is probably easier. Don't do this at home, kids. If you do, don't film it. I'm getting too old for that shit. Well, the creek is down there. There's a 150-foot embankment and it goes down to the river. And they used to throw all their garbage off the tracks right down into that valley. There's a lot of detecting left to be done here. It's very hard to do. As you guys can see, the grass is just crazy. But there's history here. The reason it's still here is because it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would have been here and dug it up years ago. Can you hear the water? I think he can hear the water. I don't know if he would remember this place. It's been a couple years since we were in here. You guys know how much Mr. Gage loves to swim. He's not going to pass up this opportunity. All right, now to get down here without breaking a limb. And there he goes. He'll do circles in there for hours. Just walking along above the creek here. There's some old razor wire. Again, that's early 1900s. Get in there. Go on, jump. Two of Gage's favorite things are happening right now. He's swimming, and I'm about to eat my lunch. He'll be right back up these rocks in a matter of seconds when he sees that sandwich come out. This is how much I love my dog. He can't get up here, I'll bring it to him. Come here, buddy. There you go, keep swimming. Him and I have gone on a lot of adventures together. Hey? Alright, I think we're rested enough. Gage has had a good swim. We're going to make our way up the river and do a little more detecting and our paranormal session. Huh. I see some metal right there. What is that? Well, there's a fence for starters, but maybe part of a stove? Right here is where that cabin was, guys, just up there. 40 feet. But I might start detecting all of this area right here. This opening. This is where I found the nails and the New Zealand crockery from the 1890s. If I can find that clip, I'll remind you, I'll show you. Oh, it's a lid. Nope. Not a lid, it's the bottom. What is it? Let's clean it off. There's writing. Ha! It's got cows on it. McLaren's Imperial Trademark Cheese. RQSD, I think, and then there's a couple of cows. So, cheese came in that? I guess? Guys, as soon as I start digging in the ground, there's glass. That is old. That's got that purple sheen to it. I'm not exactly sure where I found that creamery container and a bunch of nails and other stuff. Somewhere here in this 80-foot diameter. So far, just lots of bits of wire and glass. Hey, surface find. Look at that. An old enamel container. That's been laying out here for 100 years, guys, and it's very sturdy, very strong. Gonna still be here in another 100 years. Gage is acting weird. He's whining and sniffing like he wants to go, but I'm not done. Look what I just found here, guys. Another lantern piece. So they were coming down here at night to the creek, maybe to bathe. And in the same hole, under the lantern, we've got a hook. Strap would have went through there. Okay, here's something else. I was thinking pocket watch when I saw the roundness down there, but it's just iron. Let me bang that off a little bit. The chances of it crumbling away are pretty good though. It's all coming out of the same hole, so I have to assume that maybe, including the hook, it's all part of the lantern. Did those lanterns have hooks with straps on them? Probably. Hanging up in the tree here while you were skinny dipping down in the river at night? Just hit me as I was walking along. The glass is found 10 feet away from the lantern parts. It's all from the same thing. The glass is even from the lantern. Sometimes it takes me a minute to catch on, but I usually do. Okay, so in this very spot, I don't know if that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, guys, I was detecting and Gage started barking and growling. And I thought I heard a woman whisper something in my ear. Like I heard a voice, clear as could be. So we only had the GoPro, but we did a session with the Hack Shack. And I can't remember what replies we got, but it was a woman's voice that was coming through. Well, look at that. It's another harmonica. It's the second one we found here. Oh, snap. I'm standing here talking to the spirits, and Gage starts barking and growling, looking up at me from down in the creek. Okay, I think I'm freaking myself out. I was telling the spirits to make my metal detector go off and point me in the direction of treasure, and Gage started freaking out. What did you see? He saw something. He was looking up here, growling, and he came barreling out of the creek. I realized something. I have the 360 camera with me, and we're gonna set up right here. I'm gonna sit on this. There's a little bit of a stone wall that I found here. It's really old, like it's buried. I'm gonna sit on this stone wall, and we're gonna break out the hack shack just until I get a couple of responses, and we're gonna see what was that spirit trying to tell me. All right, I heard your voice. If you talk into my phone, we'll be able to hear you. What were you trying to tell me? Oh my God, instant response, female voice, full sentence. Did my dog Gage, did he see you? Is that why he was growling? Are these woods okay? Are they safe for me to be here? Do you have anything you want to tell me? I'm listening. Communicate through my phone. Male voice. Is the female spirit still here? The one that talked to me last time I was here a few years ago detecting? Ah! Every time he's got to come right up behind me or beside me and shake. Now my back's all soaked. I'm not going anywhere until you talk to me. Was that your lantern I just found down there? I don't assume too many people are coming back here to visit you. In fact, I'm willing to bet none. Except me. So you should say hi. I went to sit down and I got jabbed in the wrist by an old piece of barbed wire. Can you tell us your name? What was your profession? All right, I'm going to switch to necrophonic. Does the female spirit that was here and visited with me a few years ago want to come through and say anything? Did you have an affinity for New Zealand cheese? What did I find over there under the tree? Did you die of consumption? Is that what I just heard? Did you used to bathe in the creek? That said my name, and it even sounded like Doug's voice. Doug, take a back seat right now, unless you can help this person come through that I spoke with before, because I want her to come through. If you can help her do that, maybe that's what Doug's here to help me do. Doug, can you help me bring these people through? Send her through. Were you here before the tracks were put in? The 20s. So if I'm getting this correct, what I heard with my ears before I've checked this on the computer is that you lived here in the 20s, you tutored, you were married, something was wrong with her lungs, she died, it was sad. I heard all of that. Is that true? Gage is going back for a swim. Do you like my dog? You like beer? I really want to get a Hack Shack reply or two before we go. Did any of that story that I just related, that I thought I heard, come through Necrophonic? Was that true? Show yourself to my dog. Sending out light and love. He smells something. What is it, buddy? Nothing. There's another 5 minutes. Okay. I'm not recording. I've turned the phone off, so go ahead and say what you're going to say. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time if you did come, even if you didn't say anything. I wish you would have talked to us.
You are still here.
Oh, shivers going right down my arms. Hello? Thanks for finally coming through. Oh, still getting shivers. Did I speak to the woman that was here a couple of years ago? Is she here? I have no idea what that said. You're something staying or something. I don't know. Okay, guys, I feel it feels different here now. There's suddenly a breeze blowing through here. It just feels different. Do you want to talk to me? I'll leave this running if you're going to talk to me. I sense you now. Before I wasn't. Didn't feel a thing before. You guys want to visit for a few minutes? Before I go? I just came to say hi. It's a lonely spot now in 2024, but 100 years ago, there was a lot of people around. Was it a hard life back then? I really want to talk to the woman that was here, that whispered in my ear. Can you whisper into the phone? I'd like the woman that was here and who whispered in my ear before, if you could whisper into the phone right now. I will hear you if you do that. Okay, I'm going to turn this back on and give you guys like 2 minutes to give us any final messages. Did you lose your lantern down here one evening? Did it fall out of the tree and smash? He's on alert. He's been on alert for 10 minutes. What is he sensing? At the exact 2-minute mark, it said something. And it was a woman's voice. Hello? Thank you for coming through. Alright, I'm going to be heading out. I got a shiver down the back of my neck as I thought of my next question, which is, would you like me to come back in a couple of years and do this again? Do you like having visitors once in a while? Now I smell something. Yeah, definitely something stinky. Did that last comment say something about the dog? At the very end, it was trailing away. Don't rush the dog, something like that. You seem like you want to talk a little bit now. Do you want me to stay? Full shiver again. Oh, waves just going down the back of my neck. Guys, I just shut this off. It's off. Look, it's not scanning any stations, and it's still on. There should be numbers. I just shut this off. It is off. I'm going to keep filming here for a minute. I have never seen it do that. That is off. It's freaking me out a little bit. I shut it off, this turned off, and then it immediately turned back on, but without any channels being scanned. Come through, say something. Look at that screen down there. There is nothing going by on that screen. No channels. I've never seen it do this before. Did you leave this channel on for a reason? You want to tell me something? I literally shut it off to pack up and go. It's like they want to tell us something. I don't know. You better tell me. I'm going to keep recording. I'm going to shut it off again and see what happens. If you don't talk here. Okay, I'm going to set the speaker down. This is weird. Here's the phone, which this is off. I'm going to push power again and see what happens. It shut off. But watch. When it's running, that's what we're supposed to see, guys. I have never seen it shut off and not have the screen on. Watch. When you shut it off, it should shut off. It turned itself back on. But they didn't give us any messages, so that's weird. Okay, I just packed up the other phone and the speaker, guys. And then I noticed on my phone that there's a photograph taken that I didn't take. It's just a black screen. This is a different phone than which we just had the Anomaly with the app on. I didn't take a picture, and there's one single picture. I don't see anything but a black screen. I'll show it to you guys anyway. But that's two, oh, I'm getting a shiver. Two Anomalies with two different phones. An app that restarted itself, which I've never seen. And then now a photo taken on here. I'm in video mode. I didn't take any photos. And it just happened because it's after the last video where I shut off the Hack Shack after giving them an additional 30 seconds to say something. Strange. He's like freaking out, whining. Dude, what's going on with you? I'm packing up. We're going. Yes, we're going. Let's go. He's been acting weird for the last half hour. I was gonna do more detecting, guys, but we've got a 1.5 mile hike out of here. I'm exhausted. We've been here 5 hours. Oh, it's so thick walking through here. What's wrong with... He is right on my butt. Like, right... He's like a foot off the back. I keep kicking him in the jaw, actually, when I lift my boots up, because they keep getting tangled in all these weeds and thorns. Dude. It is lonely and creepy feeling back here right now. Man, he is guarding me like crazy. I just climbed over the train there and it took me a minute. I had to set the detector up there and it was all I could do to get over it. And he jumped up on this side and he was like whining, like, let's go. Never seen him act like this before. It's okay, buddy. We'll get out of here together. Let's go.